Hey guys, Casual Crono here. I am back with one of my Superboss videos. This is September 2024. I've made a few tweaks to many of them, some big tweaks, some smaller tweaks. But first, let's kind of review basically the characters I've gotten over the past month or so. I've been fortunate enough to get several new characters. First of all, there was a campaign where you got to choose a 5-star character from, I think, 2022 and earlier. It was basically from the early parts of the game. For whatever reason, I have never pulled any form of Loquito. So he's the only one on that list that I did not have, so it was kind of a no-brainer. I chose Loquito. I have Loquito now. I have enough treatises to get his AS style. I think it's AS. But I just haven't, bothered to, because chance. But if an Alter Loquito or if an ES style comes along, I do have his base style now. I'm in the process of leveling up his manifest weapon. About one day before Palaka's banner ran out, I decided, you know what, YOLO, why not, only live once. And I got his 4-star version. So I have not decided if I'm going to 5-star him or Stellar Awaken him yet, but I do have him. And I might down the road. I already have his tome, I have the chance, so I could 5-star him at any time. And he might be part of a 5-star banner that we do in the future. Right now, my Thunder team doesn't absolutely need him, so I'm holding off, but I think he's good. I'm pretty sure he's going to replace Miyu on the team at some point. So, Bertrand, I saved up some no-pal gems, and I went ahead and Stellar Awakened him, and I had enough to get most of his Stellar board available. I'm still in the process of leveling him. That's why I have this gear equipped at the moment. But in addition to Stellar Awakening him, I had enough to get his true Magister proof, so he has an extra 900 health and 15 endurance just from his special grasta. So, excited about using him in my Earth team. And then there was a banner, technically it's still going on. You could do 3 pulls, and there were 10 characters that you could get. And I had 9 of the characters. The only character on that list I did not have was Elseal. And so I figured, you know what, I have the stones, it's a 10% chance of getting her, 90% chance of disappointment. And I pulled, and on the very first one out of the 3, she came home. So I now have Elseal, who is an excellent water user. So she is going to be featured in my water team. But I have her now, yay. If there's ever an AS, ES, Alter Elseal in the future, I have the base form. And then most recently, just 2 days ago, I had saved up 6,000 Crono stones, down to about almost back up to 5,000, thanks to the campaign, and we're getting basically 50 stones a day. You know, my supplies are going up a little bit. Normally, I would not have pulled on Alter Shani, because I already had her regular form, and I figured I'd just collect the opuses. But as I said, I had 6,000 stones. There weren't any brand new characters that I was looking at in the future, so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to pull twice on her banner, see what happens. Maybe Yakumo is going to appear. Yakumo did not appear, however, Alter Shani Stellar Awakened did on the second pull. So I'm in the process of leveling her up. And I'm very excited to test her out. Actually plan on making a whole video comparing her to Soira, comparing her to Yifa, and trying to see what the best wind composition is now that she's been released, and I have most of her stellar board awakened as well. I had enough hammer points, and technically I could bring her all the way up to 80, but that would use up my entire stash. But I had enough that I could awaken most of the board. So she's missing a few stats, missing some MP. But we'll talk about her a little bit more in that video. But I do have her now, and so I am working with her on my wind team. And then finally, not just Kula, but the recent symphony allowed me to Stellar Awaken the entire bunch. So Kyo, Terry, Mai, Kula, all are Stellar Awakened and at level 81. They don't have much of their boards open because I only have 16 points for all of them. Kula, who I've been running in the dungeon to get the star charts needed, got 2 whole points out of 151,000 of those fire spirits. So she's at 18 instead of 16. Yay. But I do have 4 more Stellar Awakened characters, which did put me over 20 characters. It actually put me exactly at 20, but there is an achievement. So I have 20 Stellar Awakened characters to work with now. So with that being said, let's check out my updated September Superboss teams. My slightly improved Earth team, thanks to Bertrand's Stellar Awakening. I have Myunfa Alter, Shannon Alter, Claude ES, Bertrand Stellar Awakened, and some grasta holders in the background. So let's take a look at the team. Myunfa has only 3 skills. She would be a great character to have a 4th skill because you'll notice I have no attack. And in fact, she only has 1 Earth skill, T-Break. And it's a small attack, but it does inflict poison and pain, which is nice. But that means whenever I use my AF gauge in a burst, she has no way to get the combo rate higher. She has no Earth attacks to keep the AF gauge going. So a little annoying on that side of things, but otherwise she's an incredible character. I also don't have Keep Me Safe, which would improve the party's physical and type resistance and grants damage barriers to whoever's on my left. And I do have a very, very strong tank, so if he was to her left somehow, then she could beef up his defenses. However, what I found is his defenses are pretty good on their own, so that's why I've chosen these skills. She has the ability to deploy an Earth Zone with Charity Blend, and that's so if it runs out, Shannon can get the rest of her stacks she needs in order to awaken an Earth Zone. She has a Prayer, I'll do my best, and then she has Please, which beefs up the team's damage by 50%, or for the character with spoiling, 100%. And I find that that's a really nice boost. As far as gear, she needs health. If you notice in the description of I'll do my best, she gains a shield equal to 30% of her max health. Not just her, but the whole party. So the higher her health is, the more of a shield everyone gets. So she needs health. For gear, Spinal Staff basically just gives her some MP regen. Smoke Drift Ring, since she's praying, if she is stunned or goes to sleep, the prayer stops. So I want to kind of give some type of resistance to help her avoid those situations. It also gives some physical resistance. She has a 2000 HP badge, which I believe I got from Petalfall Village in the newest content as of right now. She has 3 HP ores. Each grasta has 300 health, and then each ore gives her an additional 300 health. And she has the power of rebirth for some MP regen as well. So all that combined, 7,000 health, 30% shield. You're looking at, what, 23-ish hundred shield for all the characters when she's praying. Shannon is the damage dealer, which means she has the best weapon, which is still the Elpis Sword with its overthrow and critical rating. Dryad's Bangle, which gives a boost to her critical damage, which she always crits. And I gave her a plus 40 power badge. You could do other things like Vitality Badge, which improves her damage by 20% if she's at max health. There's many different badges you can do. I just figured raw power. And then she has the Power of Pains, including the Earth Power of Pain. One with Bullseye, Rose with Thorns, and this one just Awakened. I don't have enough opuses to give her a special grasta yet. Claude is defensive in nature. He's actually kind of a healer and a buffer in this group, so therefore I want to make sure he stays alive. He has Miyaki's sword, which gives him some physical resistance, and when he attacks, he restores his own health. Anti-crystal bracelet, because it gives status resistances. And he has a 1250 HP badge, which I got from the Phantom Crystal Dimension for getting a bunch of cat stamps. He has 3 grasta, each with 300 health, and each with a 300 HP ore, for a grand total of just shy of 7,000 health. He does have 1 Calcale proof, which gives him 300 health as well. It's not even really awakened, it's just activated enough to give him the stats. And then we have Bertrand. Bertrand is mostly Stellar Awakened. He doesn't have the stats nodes turned on. So if I gave him 30 more points, I could do that, but it's basically an extra 20 stats on everything, and his defenses are already pretty good. So, gear. Since he's the tank, I want him to survive, so I want him to have health. One of his skills, Guardian Lance, improves his max HP by 50%, and it stacks. So the more I use Guardian Lance, the higher his health gets. So if I have a lot of base health, like 12,000, each stack is basically 6,000 more. So he gets, 18,000 on the first use of Guardian Lance, and it keeps stacking. He also can restore mana by 50 every time he gets hit with a physical attack, so he's a bit of a mana battery. He has his stellar skill, Kingdom Spear, which reduces piercing resistance and stacks Iron Wall on the user. It also gives him Barrier Pierce, but he doesn't do that much damage, so that one's not quite as helpful. Iron Wall, however, he gets 3 stacks of it. At each beginning of each turn, he uses 1 stack, gives himself a 50% damage barrier, not a shield, and type resistance, and status immunity, and he restores health. So basically, as long as I use Kingdom Spear once every 3 turns, this will happen every single turn of the fight. And if I use this in a Stellar Burst, he gets a big damage barrier and does a big attack. So that's his spammable skill too, since it's an Earth type attack. And then I have Overbear. It inflicts pain, rage, it ignores target resistance, and I gain cover. It also reduces the enemy's power and intellect a little bit. So he reduces incoming damage, he boosts his health to survive damage, and he does pain and all that. So that's his skills, and I have geared him as such to try and max out his health as much as possible. His physical and magical defense are also pretty high naturally, and if he was fully Stellar Awakened, then this would be 20 points higher, and that would be 20 points higher, which would be nice. That is the main team. For reserve characters, Alter Shannon and Regular Shannon obviously have a few things in common. Regular Shannon is also a KMS user and a sword user, though she happens to like cats. So that means I can give her the Almighty Power KMS. That improves type attacks by 25% for all KMS users, so Alter Shannon is being buffed there. We also have Power of Awakening Sword. As long as we're in an awakened zone, damage goes up by, I believe, 25 or 30%. I forget the exact percent, but it goes up. And then Enhance if Max HP Sword. As long as Alter Shannon is at max health, her damage is improved by 30%. And between Bertrand's tanking everything and Claude's skills that restore health, and Myunfa has Tampered Roast, which can restore health, Shannon should be at full health quite a lot. Deirdre is the other reserve character, and that's because they are both sword users, and Deirdre is also an amnesia personality trait. So she is buffing Alter Shannon by 25%. We have Power of a Quake Sword for an extra 30%, and Enhance if Max HP Earth, which improves damage by 10%, as long as she's at max health. Technically, that affects all Earth users, so that's affecting the whole team, except for Myunfa, who has no attacks whatsoever. So those are the reserve characters. Sidekicks. Shannon, she basically needs Earth attacks during an Earth zone in order to build up stacks to put down another awakened Earth zone in the future. So you want to try and get in as many Earth attacks as possible. So we have Morty, who has an Earth attack. He's also buffing the party's power and speed and its stacks. So that means every time he attacks, Alter Shannon gets a little more powerful. And I equipped him with a healing jewel, so at the end, well, not at the end of the turn, just whenever Morty goes, he does restore the team a little bit, just in case, kind of like a little mini Tetra. And then Gunts is in the background. He has a Thundercrack necklace. It doesn't really matter. He's not going to come out. But whenever I blow the AF gauge for the first time, the entire team's stats go up by 20%, which means Shannon's power goes up 20%. It also means Bertrand's defenses, all of his endurance and spirit and everything, those go up 20%. So he becomes even more unkillable, and Shannon becomes even more powerful. And Claude's empathy and everything is useful because it will boost up Shannon's health. So the whole team is going to have a huge amount of health once Claude goes. So that's the Earth team I've come up with, and let's check it out. To showcase the Earth team, we're going to fight the Shadow of the Swordsman, a level 10 Superboss. So we need Earth Zone. We're going to go ahead and reduce slash resistance. We're going to beef up sword damage users. And we need to go ahead and inflict pain and rage. Here on turn 2, we're going to blow the AF gauge so we can get Gunts' aura in effect. During that time, we're going to start praying. We're going to boost all sword characters' damage by 30%, and we're going to awaken the zone. We're going to reduce the enemy's power and improve physical resistance. And he is going to get in some one Kingdom Spear and some Guardian Lances. We'll start off with Guardian Lance to improve his max health. If, now that I'm thinking about it, he does have Bind, I'm not sure if those will actually work during the AF gauge, so we're going to find out. So we're going to do all 2s followed by pretty much all 1s. 2, 2, 2, nope, and then all 1s. Oh, he can do Kingdom Spear. Guess the bind wore off during that. Anyway, I believe we hit the first HP stopper. The team is now buffed up even more between the Awakened Earth Zone and the Prayer. Because we used Kingdom Spear, he gave himself some iron walls, and at the beginning of each turn, he gains a damage barrier, status immunity, and type resistance. So he's going to cast Guardian Lance to improve his health. We're going to go ahead and cast Empathy on Shannon. She is going to attack. And looks like the team is doing pretty good. We don't need to restore their MP. So we double check and make sure we're praying, which we are. And at this point, unfortunately, I don't have a 4th skill, which would be nice to have just her Earth attack. But I'm just going to cast Please until something else comes along. Okay. We hit, I believe, the 2nd HP stopper. Thanks to Empathy, now both characters have over 10,000 health. If you're ever in a bind and you need Bertrand to have more health, you could always cast Empathy on him and watch his hit points absolutely skyrocket. We are on, I believe we finished up all the HP stoppers. So at this point, we can double check our buffs. We still are in Awakened Zone. If we check her, she has 14 out of her 15 stacks of Eclantant, which means if the Awakened Earth Zone runs out, because this is the last turn, as long as someone does an Earth attack this turn, we'll have enough stacks to redeploy an Earth Zone, Awakened Earth Zone. So anyway, she's going to attack. Since everything is good and all health is good, we don't need Tampered Roast. We could go ahead and redo Praying, just because it's only for 3 turns anyway. We can double check our buffs, but this is 5 turns and this one's 5 turns, so he could just attack again. Each attack he does improve the party's power, intellect, and speed, because it stacks 4 times. We can do another Guardian Lance to get another boost in hit points, or we could do a Kingdom Spear if we're running low on Iron Walls. He should have 2 left, I believe. Oh, maybe just 1. Yep, only has 1 left. So either one. We'll go ahead and just do... we'll do 1 more Guardian Lance.
Got ya.
It doesn't really matter. Her attack wiped out the boss. It looked like it did, if I saw that right, 2 billion. If not, it was 200 million. It's always hard with those numbers just kind of flashing up and back. But in general, that's the Earth team that I have kind of come up with. My new and improved Water team featuring El Seal. So we have Felmina as the main damage dealer, and then Alulu, Alter, El Seal, and Dunrith Alter as the rest of the front line. Felmina, being the main damage dealer, has the best weapon, Elpis, for its overthrow and critical rating. She has a Dryad's Necklace to improve critical strength, and she has a plus 40 power badge. Again, badges, you can give her anything that would improve damage, like Vitality badge, Berserker badge. I mean, there's a lot of things you could give her. We're just sticking with raw power. She has 3 pains, 1 with Bullseye, 1 with Rose with Thorns, and the third one is Insult to Injury, which enhances weak point damage by 10%. So as long as something's weak to water or slash, she'll do more damage. Ilulu since she's more support, so she has support type stuff. Not so much the axe though, but she has the Mujima necklace, so over time damage decreases. She has the Dragon Bond badge, which gives her continual regen and 500 health. I could give her Steely Resolve to improve her health. I could give her any number of HP ones as well. So kind of whatever you want to do. And then she has MP Consumption, which is a base of 300 health and 10 spirit. And it's equipped with an HP plus ore for another 300 health. Sound Body Axe, so she's improving all axe users by 300 health, herself included, but Felmina also included. And she has the Power of Awakening Axe, so as long as we're in an awakened zone, which we start off in an awakened water zone, axe users' damage are going to go up. El Seal. El Seal is support. She could do damage, but I find that Felmina does enough damage for the whole team. So she has Miyaki Sword for some physical resistance. She has the Smoke Drift Bangle to improve more physical resistance and some status resistances. She has a 1250 HP badge from the Phantom Crystal Dimension, getting all those cat stamps. And then she has 3 grasta, each one with a base of 300 health, each one with an HP plus ore for 300 more health. She does have the Healing Power grasta, which improves skill effect by 30%. And that is because some of her skills, like Liz Tizona, restores all party members' health. So if she has an improvement in restoration skill, she restores even more. And then she does have a mailed sheep not awakened, so she has an extra 5 power and speed. That's about it. Dunrith Alter. I've gone back and forth between giving him a master badge, which you can buy in the newest content, which improves wherever it went. Did I pass it up? Or do I not have it bookmarked? Probably don't have it bookmarked. Well, the Master Badge is a guaranteed 100% physical critical rating, which he needs for Critical Guard. None of the weapons, no staff weapon gives physical critical rating. They all give magical critical. So I kept going back and forth, but I like his hit points being higher. Since he has Critical Guard, he needs luck. So any gear that can give him luck would be good. And I gave him 3 grasta, each with 300 health, and 3 HP ore. The Power of Rebirth does give him some regen as well. If he's not counterattacking and restoring the team, then he needs a way to restore his own mana. Skill-wise, these are the skills I have chosen for Felmina. Whoops. For Ilulu. For Elseal. And Dunrith. Dunrith, the only one that kind of needs an explanation. Dunrith is a singer, and I could give him Odyssea, which would improve, because we're going to be in an awakened water zone. It would give everyone like 120 power, 120 speed, 120 luck, himself included, and would reduce his damage taken. So I could give Felmina ES an extra 120 power, which would make her damage skyrocket. The flip side is he takes double damage, and he's singing, which means in an AF burst, things like that, he is not attacking. So it's kind of, you could swap them if you want to, but I like the flexibility of being able to basically attack when I need to. So I have chosen to leave him with the Inflicting Rage skill, Finanzo Thymus. He has... I'm not going to pronounce that right. Itherency. It grants 20% of his health as a shield to everyone and reduces their MP consumption because we have water allies. Basically, it's a 50% shield. And then Inveterio, which will, because, again, we have water allies, basically reduces water resistance by 50% and improves water type attacks by 50%. And that's going to be what I spam in AF bursts. So that's the reasoning for those skills. Okay, reserves. Felmina, Miglance Palace, Axe, Outlaw, Hood, Ninja, and Water. So we need reserve characters that have some of those features. Annabelle is a Miglance Palace user and a water user, so I can give her Almighty Power Miglance, improving Felmina's damage by 25%. I can give her the Enhancif Max HP Water, improves damage by 10%. And she has Resonant Power Shadow. For each Shadow ally, damage goes up for everybody, and it caps out at 30%. Well, if you look at the team, Shadow, Shadow, Light, and Shadow. So 3 of the 4 are Shadow users. And Zerivo, or Zaviro. I keep saying Zerivo like the R is first. It's Zaviro. Zaviro is an Axe user and a Water user. So in his case, he has Enhancif Max HP Axe, which improves damage by 30% when at full health. If Felmina has taken damage below 80%, her damage will go up by 40%. And then Power of Rapids Axe. All Water Axe users' damage will go up by 30%. And remember that she is not the only Axe user. Ilulu is also an Axe user, so he is buffing both of them in that regard. Sidekicks. With a Water team, if you have Ilulu Altar, you have Limo, and he improves Sword, Katana, and Axe users' damage by 15%. It stacks 5 times. And Strength is increased even further when we're in another zone. So Limo is a very good sidekick to use for this particular water team. And then we have Tetra in the background. Whenever the team takes damage below 80%, their health, their mana and their resistances go up. Since I'm always a little wary of Dunnerith's ability to tank, I want to try and improve his health more. I want to improve his defenses more so he can take the hits and not die. So I have Tetra instead of my usual Gunts in the background. If you are comfortable with Dunnerith Alter's tanking, Gunts, when you blow the AF gauge, improves all party member stats by 20%. That would improve Dunnerith Alter's luck by 20%, which would be very good. It also would improve Felmina ES's power by 20%, which would also be very good. So kind of your choice there with the sidekicks. But I like survivability, so I go with them. I find that Felmina does enough damage kind of on her own. I don't really need that much more. Which is kind of funny to say. I don't need that much damage, though you're trying to kill things. So, anyway, this is the water team. Let's check it out in action. We're going to use the Mysterious Chaos Ogre Hard, a level 10 Superboss, to showcase the water team, which I feel has been greatly improved now that I have El Seal. So, we wait for all the effects to happen. I'm going to get healed and then immediately take damage from the curse. But that does mean that Tetra's aura will kick in right away. Now you'll notice these glowing swords. That's an El Seal thing. That is her link. So we're going to start off. We are going to reduce the enemy's power with Torrent. We're going to inflict pain. We are going to improve water damage, and we are going to expose water. And we are going to immediately get rage going on the first turn. Tetra's aura has kicked in, so we see the team's health improved. He's doing his reaction attacks, counter attacks. Now we want to save the AF gauge for when we need it, so we are now going to do Averse, Purgatorium, Max Vexillum, and he's going to give the team a shield. His max HP is now a lot higher thanks to Tetra, so the shield is pretty nice. It's about 2,000 per person. The boss tried to deploy a fire zone and tried to do a knockback, but none of that worked. We have 3 stacks left of the barrier. And remember that Rafaeli Glacie, as long as we're in Divine Droplet state, will grant the user Barrier Pierce for 3 moves. So not only are we going to hit our 50 stacks of Ice Burst, but we're also going to get 1 Barrier Piercing attack in now. We're going to go ahead and just use our first skill for everyone, which basically will improve damage or create resistances, or debuff resistances, or both. So here comes the Barrier Pierce, and it went all the way down to his HP stopper. The Ogre gets mad, and then the rest of the team starts working on the shield. So already we're down to, I think it was 9 stacks of the shield. Now, Dunnerith Altar, remember, has critical guard. Because we used Lair Tizona by Il Seal, the party's critical rate is at 100% for 3 moves right now. So as long as he doesn't use 3 moves, he will have his critical There it is, critical guard. He will be able to reduce damage quite a lot, basically based on his luck skill. Stat, not skill. Alright, anyway, let's finish this guy off. We have 9 stacks of a barrier. We are no longer in an awakened water zone. So we are going to blow the AF gauge, and the first thing we're going to do is shatter glass, and that, because we have 50 stacks now, right there, we will deploy water stance. And then we're going to burn through the remaining stacks. We're just going to use everyone's first attack. Right there is ×3, 1 attack. She's going to have multiple attacks because we'll be in water zone, and he'll have an attack. So we're going to burn through the barrier and then burn through the remaining 10% very quickly. You see the boss is already dead. We're in our awakened water zone. If we needed to, we could rebuff. But you can see the boss has long since been defeated. We're just basically having fun now.
This will be the last thing you see.
And our 2 axe users do a little attack. So that is my water team in action. Part of it is dependent on getting Dunnerith Alter his 100% critical rating as soon as possible. So, you know, this particular method might not work for all bosses, but once he gets at 100%, then he starts reducing damage a lot more, and I kind of like his sustainability with his counterattacks, so I'm starting to warm up a little bit to him. I'm still not perfectly happy with him, but, you know, we're getting better. LCO helped a lot with that. My current win team is probably my most powerful team, and there are some variations. Normally it's Sesta, Melody, Yifa, and Soira AS. Melody is great because she can automatically redeploy the Awakened Wind Zone as often as I want, and she restores the party's mana. And Soira is great because of her defenses. I do have, as far as wind characters go, Malpifia is a great support character. She could always replace Yifa. Suzette can also redeploy an Awakened Wind Zone as often as I want, so she could always replace Melody. Suzette also provides pain and poison, as does Melody. And most recently, I got Shani AS, and she is a tank, basically, that also beefs up the party's damage, so she could always replace Soira. But that's for another video. Thinking about making just a wind team variations video in general. But anyway, this has been my default team for the longest time. If I try any new boss, any new strategy, this is usually a team I try first. For the most part, it's the same. It's had a few tweaks as well. Sesta has a 40 power badge, Elpis dagger, and Dryad's ring, 3 power of pains, and she has a base Fenrir proof for an extra 5 power. Melody needs to survive, so she has the Enduring Staff for a little bit of MP regen, Oriental Ring, which improves resistances, and she has an HP plus Speed halved badge for an extra 2,000 health. Her speed does not matter too much because her skills, like Depravity is preemptive, so it doesn't really matter what her speed is. So Dark Drill and Magical Smash are the only 2 that are affected by her speed. Oh, and she has 3 grasta, each with a base of 300 health. Well, 2 of them with a base of 300 health and HP ores. And then she is holding the Enhance if Max HP Wind grasta. As long as you're at max health, wind users get an extra 10% damage. So she has over 6,000 health and can survive pretty well. She also has a base Libet proof, not awakened or anything, just 5 intellect and 25 mana. Yifa is also built to survive. She has the Kwai weight, which gives her extra health. She has the Mujima bangle, so over time her damage taken decreases. And she needs a very high spirit. The more spirit she has, the better off the character that she bestows faith upon. So I gave her a 40 spirit badge. She has 3 grasta, each with a base of 300 health, and many of them with spirit as their secondary stat. And she has, well, that one has endurance, and then each one is upgraded with HP ore. So she has over 6,000 unbuffed health, and she has a Juno proof, which gives her another 5 spirit, as well as some speed. Soira, she has critical guard, so she needs a weapon with 100% critical rating to make sure it takes effect 100% of the time. The Void Lance or the Elpis Spear both would work for that situation. If for any reason you don't need it, the Fishhook Spear gives her extra health, so that could always be a possibility as well. But I stick with the Void Lance. She has the Grace Armlet, which gives luck, and because I always pull her and she has 172 light, I have 2 badge slots, each one 20 badge, or 20 stats for everything, so basically she gets 40 luck, 40 endurance, and 40 spirit that way. So that is where her stats stand. She has Power of Rebirth, which gives her a regen, and because she has so much light points, the Light Shadow HP ore is the best choice for her. She has Vow of Invincibility, which gives her more health MP, and Self-Healing Lance, which gives her health, endurance, and they are all equipped with the light HP ore. The only real new thing with her, I finally got 15 aristocrat treatises, so I was able to upgrade her to the true aristocrat proof, which gives her 900 health instead of 300, and gives her 15 luck instead of 5. So her base health is over 8,000, and her Foi Sincere skill gives her a shield based on her max health. So when I cast Foi Sincere, not only does she beef up her resistances, she basically gains an 8,000 health shield as well, giving her effectively 16,000 health. And then she has Floor Breeze to reduce power, it stacks, and she has Elemental Guard and Self-Healing, even though I've never really needed them at all. So that is the main team. Skill-wise, Sesta pretty much has Twin Blade Wolf. These are her other skills. Melody has Depravity for pain, Dark Drill because it's a very powerful attack and reduces wind resistance, and Magical Smash because it beefs up the party's critical damage. And so that means Sesta's critical attacks will do more damage. Yifa and Aurora because she just needs something to attack with, and it happens to improve the speed of the party. Binoct, Preemptive, gives everyone 50% extra stats, except for whoever's Faithed, which is usually Sesta, in which case it improves her power by 100% and attack by 100%. And then Athdaucus to add to some resistances and to give Cyclone Wind immunity. And in Sesta's case, if she's one with Faith, it gives her a shield based on her health. So Sesta will gain a 6,000 health shield as well. So, main team. Sesta does not have many personality traits. Katana, Avenger, and Wind. Nice and simple. Azami is a Katana Wind user, so she has Enhance if Max HP Wind, or Enhance if Max HP Katana, Power of Gale Katana, and Power of Awakening Katana. Tomei has Low HP Katana, Sound Body Katana, and Almighty Power Avenger. So Tomei is an Avenger, and thus able to give Sesta 25% more damage. And the Sound Body is basically just to give Sesta a little extra survivability until I can get the Faith off and the Athdaucus off. Sidekick-wise, Tetra and Gunts, my usual. Tetra heals the team, gives them additional health and magic points, and physical and magical resistance whenever any party member gets below 80% health, and Gunts gives every character 20% extra stats, including Soira's luck and including Cesta's power. So whenever the AF gauge is empty, so if you blow the AF gauge, you get more luck, you get more power right away, and it's permanent for the rest of the fight. So that is my wind team. And let's take a look at it in action. To show off my wind team, we are going to fight the Warped SD-148. It's an Earth-based boss, which means the wood team is very strong against it naturally. We start off in an Awakened Wind Zone, which means we can Twin Blade Wolf right away. We will cast Depravity to get Pain. We are going to beef up defenses and give knockback immunity with the other two. The barrier that this boss has doesn't affect her final two attacks. That little explosion right there is Melody restoring the wind zone, since we had 4 wind users in the front. So now we can do a few things. We can Twin Blade, we can Magical Smash if we want to improve critical damage. We can do Depravity again if we feel we need the 50% damage barrier, because it only lasts for the 1 turn. We can do Dark Drill, which reduces wind type resistance. I mean, we have a lot of choices. So for this turn, we'll do Magical Smash, because Twin Blade should bring it down. Now, we can Faith someone if we want to. We can Faith Cesta. We can Faith Soira if we think we need the luck on her. We can Floor Breeze to start reducing the enemy's power.
Listen. These are the cries of the voiceless.
And there's the first HP stopper. The boss completely destroys the wind zone. There's still an end of turn heal because it's based on what the turn starts on. Since we started in the wind zone, we still get the end of turn heal. But now, even if she did deploy the wind zone this turn, we wouldn't get the end of turn heal until a little bit later. That also means we do not have Twin Blade Wolf because we don't have any Divine Wolves stacked. So we have to wait until we are in an Awakened Zone again. So at this point, it's kind of a waiting game. We could get ourselves a shield, we could do Dark Drill. In her case, she can just attack right now. There is a barrier, so we could always start whittling down the barrier. We could Benacht Buah, which would improve the party's power, except that because of the barrier, there's no reason to improve their power. So we could just improve the speed of the team. And we could Floor Breeze it to continue to reduce the enemy's power. We could also blow the AF gauge and just have everyone attack mercilessly and try to get through the barrier. So it's kind of whatever you feel like doing. In this case, let's just go ahead and blow the AF gauge. We are going to Crusher Blow, Dark Drill, we're going to An or Roar, and we are going to Floor Breeze. We might work in 1 Elemental Guard and then Floor Breeze. So 3, 3, 3, 1, then all 3s. Since we don't have the Awakened Wind Zone, we're not keeping the AF gauge going as long as we could. But now, the boss is pretty much fully debuffed. And as you can see, the damage was absolutely minimal. I'm actually not sure why we got that. Oh, that's right. Her end of turn heal, she gets, I think, 2 or 3 when she deploys the zone. So even if the zone is overwritten, that's what it was. Been a while since I looked that up. Alright, we're down to 12. Crusher Blow will knock out a few. Dark Drill will knock out a few. And we can go ahead and rebuff defenses. And Floor Breeze should knock out 1 more. He does have a knockback, which I think is this turn, so there goes Soira. We'll move Soira back into the front line. At this point, there's only 2 barrier stacks left. So if we cast Benacht, her Crusher blows, some of them might go through. And we'll go ahead and redo Depravity for the shield, since we don't have our tank. Now, if you had Suzette during this time, as long as you had a full Stellar Burst bar, you could just Bolt of Bahamut and get back the Wind Zone immediately, and that way the fight probably would have been over at this point. So, depending on who you bring, there's different ways to get the Awakened Wind Zone. So, we're going to Foy Sincere, we are going to Athdaucus to redo the buff for Soira, Magical Smash, and Crusher Blow. And here goes our Awakened Wind Zone, now that the team is complete. Which means we can Twin Blade Wolf. So that also means if we cast Benacht, Twin Blade will be severely buffed thanks to the Faith buff. So we'll go ahead and do Dark Drill, Twin Blade, Benacht, and what's disappearing? Floor Breeze is about to disappear. Not that it's going to matter much, but we can redo Floor Breeze and the reduced stacks. And here goes Sesta, absolutely destroying the boss. 2 damage-capped attacks at the end for over 4 billion in damage. As I said, this fight would have been a lot faster with Suzette instead of Melody, because Suzette could have immediately reawakened the zone and Sesta could have finished the job a lot sooner. But that's basically how the Wind teams go. At least the current Wind team. My Fire team is mostly the same as it has been, a few minor tweaks. Manalka is the main damage dealer. She can bypass barriers with her skills, Rip and Tear. So she is the person equipped with the Elpis Sword, Dryad's Bangle, and a plus 40 power badge. She has the 3 Power of Pains, including the Infernal Power of Pain, Bullseye, Rose with Thorns. Her Nemesis Proof gives her an extra 5 power. Sukiya has Prismatic Pick, Subspace Bracelet, and an HP badge. This particular one is 1250 from the Phantom Crystal Dimension and the number of cat paw print stamps. And then she has ones that are devised to keep her alive. She has MP Grasta with 300 health, 10 spirit. 300 health, 5 spirit. And then she has the Enhance if max HP fire. So as long as characters are at max health, their damage goes up by 10%. This team is a little weird. Manalka damages the team, Iffy damages the team, but Reyes' counterattacks heal the team. So you never quite know if Manalka's attacking when she's at full health or low health. So I kind of have it prepared both ways. The Prismatic Pick is because it gives her some speed. And the Subspace Bracelet gives her health. In order to maximize Manalka's damage, you want the team's health to be as high as possible. And you actually don't want barriers blocking damage, because she needs to basically hurt the whole team in order to maximize her own damage. So that's why the rest of the characters have a lot of health. Iffy has the Purity Staff, and it's been upgraded, so it has status resistances, damage decreases over time, speed. She has the Subspace Ring, which gives her an extra 300 health. And she has the 2000 HP badge, which you can buy at Petalfall Village. She has 3 Grasta that each have 300 health, and because she has 80 Shadow, the Light Shadow HP ore gives more health than the regular HP ore. And then she has Carmilla Proof, which gives her a little extra speed and int, which really doesn't do anything. For her, anyway. Skill-wise, because she has 80 Shadow, she has 4 skills, and so she has Icrophilia, Nocturnal Procession to buff the team, Rosa Liliac for the pain, and Shade Zone more for the blood contract than the actual Shade Zone, since this is the fire team. Radius AS is the tank, one of the best tanks in the game currently, and she is built around health. She has the illusion speed, which gives her 1000 health. She has the Elpis Bangle, which gives her health based on her light points, and she has 120 light points. Because she has 120, I have 2 badges, each one from Toto Theater World, each one giving her 2000 health and reducing her speed. So she pretty much always goes last, however she has a tremendous amount of health. Grasta, all 3 Grasta give her 300 health, and Light Shadow HP Ore on everything, and Victory Celebration for the mana regen as well as regular regen. She does have the true Crimsonite proof, so she gets an extra 900 health from it and 15 endurance. Her speed has never really bothered me too much because Prominence Purge is preemptive, so it does not require speed, and the only other attack I ever seem to use is Overwhelm. So as long as it gets off once every 3 turns, the stack doesn't go away. And she gains a shield based on her max health because of Overwhelm, so that's another reason why I try to get her health as high as possible. She gains a 13,750 health shield, so she basically has 27,000-ish health total. So that's the main team. Because Minalka is the main damage dealer, we look at her personality: sword, military, glutton, Kronos Empire, and fire. Well, Aldo is a fire and sword user, so he has Power of Inferno Sword, Power of Awakening, which does more damage in an awakened zone, and Resonant Power Shadow. Each Shadow ally improves damage, and on this team, Minalka and Iffy are both Shadows, so you don't get the full 30%, but you get, I'm assuming, 15%, about half of that, and that's added on to Minalka's damage. Violet is also a sword user, a free character. She has Sound Body Sword, so all sword users, Radius as well as Minalka, are getting extra health and mana. Enhance at low HP. Since the team does take damage, their health isn't always at maximum, so when they are hurt below 80%, they get an extra damage boost. And then, because Minalka is a glutton and Violet is a glutton, Violet is buffing Minalka by 25%. For sidekicks, we have Limo and Tetra. Tetra used to be in the front row because I liked the healing. Since the team hurts themselves, you need to heal it back. However, Radius AS, her counterattack heals the team, and if you give Limo the healing jewel, he does restore the team's health to a smaller degree. So Limo also has the ability to improve sword, katana, and axe users' damage by 15%, and it stacks. So, and when there's another zone deployed, it also does more damage, or more stacking damage percent. And it also charges a lot faster when you have 3 or more /weapon allies. So, basically, he's going to buff Minalka up and heal the team back somewhat. Tetra's aura affects things whether the Tetra's in the front row or back row. So after the first turn, when the team hurts themselves, they should gain more health, more mana, and more resistances, regardless that Tetra's in the back row. We don't gain his ability to restore health and restore statuses, so on fights where I need that, I can always swap them out. So that is the team. Let's see the fire team in action. The boss I like to showcase is the Karakuri Heart of Ro. It happens to be weak to fire, and it has several HP stoppers, which allows me to kind of show off some of the skills of the team. We're going to start off the fight by blowing the AF gauge. We are going to deploy Fire Zone, do Pain Poison, which isn't technically necessary since Minalka's Rip and Tear puts pain on the enemy, but it does debuff the boss. And we're going to get in an Overwhelm, and then we're going to and she's just going to Rip and Tear, because that's pretty much what Minalka does. After that, we'll try to do the 2s, Surging Blaze and Nocturnal Procession, but otherwise we will cast 1 on everything. So, 1, 3, 3, 2. I think we just kind of messed that up a little bit, but we hit the HP stopper. We have an awakened fire zone now, thanks to Sukiya Altar. In between Limmel and Sukiya Altar's end of turn heal, the team stays mostly healed up, even without Tetra. And despite the barrier, we were still able to get 50 stacks of Tributin. So she's going to rip and tear again. We're going to cast Morale on Manalka. We're going to do Nocturnal Procession, and we are going to Overwhelm again. The boss clears his debuffs after each HP stopper. Radius's counterattack heals the team and restores mana. We're going to continue to rip and tear. Now that morale has been placed, we can go ahead and Surging Blaze, and that will beef up the party's power, intellect, and critical damage. And in the case of Manalka, she also gains 30% to her weapon type damage. And the buff effect is increased double because we're in fire stance. At this point, it doesn't really matter what she casts. We can redo Rosa Liliac since the boss did clear his debuffs. And we still have Rage going, so we can just do Overwhelm again. We hit the second HP stopper, which does mean the boss... I thought he cleared his debuffs, but looks like they're still on there. Maybe he clears at the end of the turn, I've forgotten. It's been a while. Yeah. Yep, no debuffs anymore. Except, of course, for the pain and poison and rage. So, rip and tear again. At this point, we still have an awakened fire zone. We just cast Surging Blaze, so the only thing we have for Sukiya is Shekhar and Rambu. We can do Rosa Liliac again, since Nocturnal Procession lasts for 3 turns, and that way we'll get a debuff going. And since Rage is still going on, we could do an Overwhelm, or we could technically Prominence Purge and redo the Rage if we needed to. And you'll notice that Manalka is doing massive amounts of damage. And there was the Karakuri Heart of Ro, defeated by the Fire team. My Thunder team is relatively unchanged as well. I do have one new character, as I mentioned at the beginning. I do have Utpalaka. He's only level 60 right now, but if I choose to get him to level 80, it's possible I might swap him out for Miyu, because I think that would be a really powerful team as well. But for right now, this is what I got. Obero is the main damage dealer, so I built a team around him. As far as he is concerned, we have pretty much what you would expect: Elpis gear, Dryad's ring, and Vitality badge, which improves his damage by 20% when he's at max health. The idea behind Thunder teams is that we blow the AF gauge right away at the start of the fight. They're already at max health, so that way that Vitality badge will definitely be in effect. And they hit hard, they hit fast, they get a very high combo rate, and they do a lot of damage in the AF burst. And then they can very quickly fill up the AF gauge and do another burst fairly soon after the first. So that's kind of the theory behind it. So Obero, instead of having like a plus 40 power or something like that, which we could give him, he has the Vitality badge. He has the Pains with Bullseye, Rose with Thorns, and Awaken Zone. Damage is improved when the zone is awakened, and the Thunder Zone is awakened a lot thanks to Guns. Skills, there you go. For the other three, we have Valette, who's kind of a must for Thunder teams, her and Guns. As for her, we have the Elpis Hammer, the Sylph Bracelet for speed, and the Winged One's badge for combo rate improvement. We also have Self-Healing, MP Restore, and Enhance HP Thunder. So this one improves everyone's damage by 10% as long as they're at max health. And these two, the base is 300 health to give her some survivability, and they have combo rate enhancement upgrades, so we can improve the combo rate during an AF gauge. She has Dream Digger Proof, which gives her an extra power and speed. The idea being, if they're very speedy, they can do more moves during an AF burst. Elpis Spear for Miyu, Dryad Spangle, and Power Badge, and she has 3 Power of Pains with your traditional Bullseye, Rose with Thorns, and Last Stand. Last Stand affects multiple enemies, so if there's a group, she does even more damage, 30%. She has the Athena Proof, which gives her an extra power and speed. So, as far as skills, I'm able to equip 4 skills. Soteria is the one that it extends the Thundering Stance duration, but it improves her personal power, intellect, and speed for 3 turns. It doesn't affect the whole party. That's why it's in the 4th position. I kind of shove it away where if I have time, I'll use it, like if I hit an HP stopper. Otherwise, I pretty much don't use that one. But she has Levin Longitus to inflict pain. She has, wherever it went, Epitomo, which reduces thunder resistance to enemies. And, of course, her main attack is something that increases the Another Force combo rate. We talked about Obero, so that leaves our tank, Orlea. Orlea has Miyaki's Axe, which gives her speed. She has the Oriental Necklace for defenses. She has a 2000 HP badge. And then she has 3 grasta, each with a base of 300 health, each equipped with HP ore. And the Power of Rebirth, of course, gives her MP regen. And MP Consumption Axe reduces her amount of MP that she uses. So she has 7400 health, and she has these following skills. It'd be really great if I could also work in resistance. I don't have a 4th slot, and I don't really want to give up these 3. Foudry Hatch, if that's how it's pronounced, improves combo rate and attacks 3 times, improves party's critical rate, and activates Lunatic if I awaken the zone and all forth. But basically, if I blow the AF gauge, this is the attack that she spams, and it hits 3 times, keeping the gauge going and improving the combo rate. So that leaves only 2 slots left. And Alumage in Thundering Stance improves the party's power, intellect, and speed by 100%. And I don't really want to give that up. It also improves damage for all weapon type users by 30%, which means I only have 1 slot left, which I have to choose between Rage or Praying. And between the two, I'd rather inflict Rage to redirect enemies towards her while I'm waiting to charge back up the AF gauge. So that's kind of the logic between those choices. It would be really awesome if I could work in resistance. If you have someone with if you have Orlea with 80 light points, which mine cannot do, then, that would probably be the 4th skill to use. So that is the primary team. Of course, you could go without a tank entirely, but if it's a prolonged fight, tanking helps. With Thunder teams, the main sidekick you always want is Guns. And he not only has an auto skill, which inflicts Elemental Break Thunder, he also improves party type resistance, which stacks, but also he can redeploy the Awakened Thundering Stance. So basically, that's what his charge skill is. Once the Awakened Thunder Zone goes away, you use his charge skill, it comes back, and he can do it an infinite number of times. And then he attacks something 10 times as well. For sub-sidekick, Tetra. And that's basically just for survivability. Improves the team's max health, mana, physical, and magic resistance once they get hurt. So, sidekicks. Since Obero is the main damage dealer, we always look at his personalities. Cat Lover, Eastern, Mask, Katana, Lovesick, KMS, Eater Ryu, and Thunder. A lot of personalities to work with. So the ones I have chosen to focus on, I have Sukiya and Victor, both Katana users. Sukiya happens to be an Eastern and Mask user, so there's 2 personality traits right there. And then she has Enhance if max HP Katana. As long as you're at full health, damage is increased by 30%. Victor has Power of Offense, Thunder, Power of Awakening Katana, and Power of Thunder Katana. So he improves the entire party's damage by 15% because they're in Thunder Zone. As long as it's an Awakened Thunder Zone, Obero will do more damage. And pretty much no matter what, Obero will do more damage. So those are the ones I've chosen for him. Resonant Power Shadow does not affect this team at all. All 4 members are light users, so we don't have to work in Resonant Power Shadow anywhere. So that is a team, that's the sidekicks. Let's go check out this team showing off their skills. So here's the Uquajis. Let's see if any resist. Well, not resist. Let's see if any are null to Thunder.
Don't worry, everyone. Let's fight.
We have 2 resists, but no nulls. We can work with that. So we're going to blow the AF gauge. We're going to do the 3s first. So we are going to improve the party's critical damage and improve damage based on number of chains. We're going to inflict pain. We're going to use Voltaic Sword, which reduces slash resistance on 1 enemy. And we are going to cast defense. Then we're going to do Exosia, which will improve power, intellect, speed, and type attack by 100% since we're in a Thunder Zone. All enemies' thunder resistance will go down. We're going to do an attack and improve thunder type attack. And all you mage, which since we're in Thunder Zone, 100% buff to everything. And then we basically just spam our 1s. We are going to do thunder attacks on all enemies. Piercing attack on 1 enemy. All enemies. Rising Beat. And Foudry Hatch. So all 3s, then all 2s, then all 1s. And we'll just target the back one because that's the one that does the Fists of All Heavens first. 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, and all 1s. And watch the combo rate. 1 enemy is down, 2 enemies are down, 3 enemies are down. Combo rate is continuing to go up. And if we keep going, the AF gauge keeps going. We're at 868. We hit 970% and the Uquajis were defeated. So that's kind of the thought process between Thunder. Hit them hard, hit them fast. The first fight was so fast, you really didn't get to see anything other than just blow the AF gauge, kill something. But what happens when you fight an enemy that has barriers or has HP stoppers with the Thunder team? Let's take a look with our good friend, the mysterious Chaos Ogre Hard, who has barriers and an HP stopper. The general strategy doesn't change much. The only change I made, Miyu, instead of having Ophalo Voltic as the spammable skill for the Another Force combo rate, and Levin Longitus being used just once, I swapped the 2 positions. so that way I can use Levin Longitus. It pierces barriers when in Thunder Stance, and we are pretty much always in Thunder Stance. So she is going to start piercing barriers and do a little bit of damage to the boss while we're also working on the barrier. Otherwise, the general strategy is the same. We're going to blow the AF gauge, do all 3s, all 2s, and then spam 1s. By the time it's over, we should have the barrier down and the boss down to its HP stopper. 3, 1, 3, 3, all 2s, and then all 1s. Doing this also gets the Stellar Burst bar ready to go. So you can see the boss is now at his HP stopper. We've already got him down. At this point we're just having fun. And he's going to get mad. And he's going to give us 1 turn to kill him. Now normally a barrier wouldn't be that big of a deal. You'd spend a turn or 2, get the AF gauge up, and then burst him down again. But we don't have more than 1 turn available. We have to kill him now. Well, Obero has a skill, Rising Beat, that when used in Stellar Burst gives him a barrier pierce for 3 moves and attacks again. Rising Beat, Burst. And attack again with a barrier piercing attack. There we go. Boss is down. My Crystal Superboss team hasn't changed much since August. I've gained a few levels, made a few tweaks, but overall, pretty much the same. The Lily, Stellar Awakened, the entire board. She's at level 85. She has the Elpis Sword for the Overthrow, Dryad's Bangle, and a plus 40 power badge. She has the 3 Power of Pains with the Bullseye, Rose with Thorns, and Gleaming Power of Pain. Melissa has her Manifest Weapon, Stamped Ring, which gives her speed, and a Speed Badge, plus 40. She has 1 grasta that gives her 300 health, and it has an HP ore for an additional 300 health for some survivability, but otherwise she is holding the Power of Offense Crystal, which improves all team's damage by 15% in Crystal Zone, and Enhance if max HP Crystal. So if anyone's at full health, they do an extra 10% damage. Mistrari has the Dark Spirit Bow, which gives her some resistance. I've given her the Smoke Drift Ring, which improves her resistance and also gives her some resistance to stun and sleep. If she's singing, we don't want her to be stunned or put to sleep. And she has the HP plus MP Halved badge from Toto's Theater World. I don't really care much about her magic power, mana power, because while she's singing, she's not using any, and her skills really don't use that much to begin with. She has Sound Body West and Sound Body Bow to improve the hit points and MP for both the Little Lily and for Alma. And she has Resonant Power Shadow. For each Shadow ally, up to I think 4 is the maximum, you can get up to 30% extra damage. And this team, all 4 characters, and let's go back to the Little Lily, all 4 characters are Shadow characters. So by holding that grasta, the entire team is doing an extra 30% damage. And with this gear, she has close to 6,000 health, so survivability not too shabby on her own. Alma has the upgraded Lollipopper. I believe it gives 2,000 health, gives her some physical resistance, and gives her 1 hold ground. She has the Elpis Ring, which gives her extra health based on her light shadow. Her shadow is 82. She has an HP plus speed halved badge from Toto's Theater World. I like her having a low speed because some of her skills create a crystal break, and that allows the Little Lily, who has a pretty high speed, on the next turn to make use of that crystal break. Alma has 3 grasta. Each one has 300 health, and some spirit or endurance, and the power of rebirth, which gives her not only 300 health, but also gives her some regen and mana regen. And they've all been upgraded with the Light Shadow HP ore from Omegapolis. And that's because her shadow points are above 50, so it gives her more health than the HP ore from Underworld and future Garrulia Dungeon. So she's at level 91, fully Stellar Awakened, and she has close to 12,000 unbuffed health. I should point out Melissa only has part of her Stellar board awakened because I don't have enough points. I have her all the way to level 100, which she's slowly getting at, and I have all the main abilities chosen. The ones I did not unlock, I didn't unlock 1 HP and 1 MP one, the stats ones, and then the far MP ones. So that's the base team. Reserves. Thalil is a Sweet Tooth, a member of the Clergy and West, along with Sword and Crystal. Since she's the main DPS we're trying to bulk up, the reserves are designed to help her. And I have Almighty Power Clergy, West, and Sweet Tooth on Melina. It doesn't matter what form she's in, so if you have her base form, that one works fine too. But since they share the same 3 personality traits, all of those are buffing her damage. And then we have a sword user. I have Aldo chosen. You can have any sword user. He has Power of Crystal Sword, so he's improving Thalili's damage by 30%. Enhance if max HP Sword, again an improvement in damage. And Power of Awakening Sword. As long as we're in an awakened crystal zone, her damage is increasing as well. If you don't have one of these, you could always equip Enhance at low HP Sword, which boosts damage when she's below 80% health. It's the one that I've left out of this team because Alma's reactive damage, or her counterattacks basically, restore the health of the team. So if Alma gets hit, Thalili's health is usually at maximum. So I figure the low HP or really doesn't come into play that often. But in some cases, like the boss we're about to fight actually, she is at low health a lot. Sidekick-wise, Tetra and Moke. Moke is vital for Thalil. He's the way that we can re-enable the Sword and Heart attack. And then Tetra is just a good general sidekick to have with almost every team. He heals his aura once the team gets below 80% health. He boosts their hit points, their mana points, their physical resistance, type resistance. So he's just a really good sidekick to have in almost every situation. They are equipped with the Soothing Bell, which slows him down a little bit. That means he heals the team sometimes after the boss attacks instead of before, and it also boosts his restore. And then Moke is equipped with Pandora's Can. Every so often you gain an extra charge point. Since he needs 5 charges to re-enable Sword and Heart, it's sometimes helpful to have a way to get extra charges and speed that process up. So that's the team. Let's check it out. To show off the Crystal team, we're going to fight the mysterious Chaos Ogre hard. The boss has barriers. He has a curse, which sucks away half my health, very conveniently after the team gets healed. I have no extra boosts towards all the help that these Arat Maze Village fights can have, so we're just basically going with the strength of the team alone. So we start off in an awakened crystal zone. For 2 turns, Alma is boosted. She's in her alchemaic high, and she can't die. So we use the first turn to set up Rage. We are going to not activate Singing right away. We are going to improve physical resistance. We are going to improve the critical damage of the whole party. And we are going to improve the... it doesn't really matter which we do first. Let's go ahead and do Promised Land. you'll notice that Alma took all the hits and survived. Because of the curse, Tetra's aura kicked in, so the entire team now has extra resistances and extra health. That's the yellow numbers down there. And we wait while Alma keeps reactive killing. Alright, between Alma and Tetra, we're down to 22 stacks of the barrier. And Alma took all the curse damage. We're going to go ahead and blow the AF gauge on this turn. We're going to do Apostle, Glint Gale, Healing Lore. Not necessary for this fight, just kind of an example of how this works. And then Luster Glare, and then we're going to spam pretty much all ones after that. At some point, we're going to go ahead and do a burst and do Sword and Heart. So So 3, 2, 2, and then all ones. 3, 2, 2, all ones. Alright, our burst gauge is now full. We'll go ahead and burst now. We've got the combo bar up. Now, we're not going to do any damage. We hit the HP stopper. This is just to show how the crystal team works. In Thalila's case, within the first 3 turns, we have to use Sword and Heart, or it's going to go away. We're going to use Hornet Hail this turn. That will extend the zone for 2 more turns. And in her case, we'll just Kaleidoscope. It does give, since we're using it in a burst, it does give the entire team 3 barrier-piercing moves, which is good because this boss is about to restore his barrier.
Irregular performance increase detected.
We're going to start singing. And yeah, I'm using up the barrier-piercing moves, but it doesn't matter. So the boss is very mad that we were able to hurt him. He's going to prepare one last attack and restores his barrier. So we have to kill him on this turn, or else he's going to kill us. And it doesn't matter if Alma is invincible. Now, we've used Sword and Heart, which means the Little Lily is no longer in sword-wielding savior state. But because we used it in a burst, if we call up Moke and use his Moke Rampage, not only do we reduce the barrier 5 times, but the Little Lily is back in sword-wielding savior state. If you need Tetra from this point forward for heals, you can always switch back. Thanks to her using her burst skill, well, her Sword and Heart in a burst skill, we got the 5 charges we needed to activate Moke, which allows us to Sword and Heart again, which, mind you, is barrier piercing. So as long as she attacks with Sword and Heart, this battle is over. It doesn't matter how many stacks of the barrier he has. But just for funsies, Hornet Hail, and we'll Luster Glare, why not? So here we go. And the boss is defeated. So that is one Superboss example of how the Crystal team works together and how much damage they can put out. Finally, my Null Magic team. The main damage dealer is Shangwa, but we have Myunfa Alter, Shangwa, Iffy, and Flammopolis AS as the main party. Shangwa, being the main damage dealer, has pretty much what you would expect. The Elpis Rod, Dryad's Ring, and she has an Int plus 50 Speed Halved badge, and that is by design. I want the other characters to cast their buffs first before Shangwa goes, and that will maximize her damage for that particular turn. As far as grasta, she has your standard Pain series, Bullseye, Rose with Thorns, and Last Stand. She does have her Taiai, Zerin, I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. She has her special grasta, which gives her some extra mana and int. She is Stellar Awakened and has most of the board open. A little bit of hit points and some stats are missing, that's about it. So do keep that in mind. She's also at level 90, so she's gained 10 levels worth of hit points and stats. And the skills I use are Horizon, Trinity, and Link. I actually don't use Tesseract, her Stellar Awakened skill, that often in fights. I find that Horizon does the job pretty well. To support her, we have Myunfa Altar. Myunfa Altar is, since she's a support character, I try to build her defensively. And in fact, one of her skills, which is I'll Do My Best, her prayer, not only buffs the team, but also the team gains a shield equal to 30% of her max health. So you want to have Myunfa Altar have a pretty high health if you can. So to do that, I do have the Spinal Staff, which gives her some MP consumption and some regen. Smoke Drift Ring, since she's praying, I don't want her stunned or put to sleep, so it's a little bit of resistance towards that. It also gives her a little bit of physical resistance. And she has the HP 2000 badge from Petalfall Village. So that way, I've tried to raise her health as high as possible. She has 3 grasta, each with a base of 300 health, and each one with the HP plus ore. And the Power of Rebirth gives her a regen and a mana regen as well. So she has 7,300 health, and about 30% of that you're looking at around, not 2,500, but maybe 24-ish area. So she can give a shield of around 2,400 health to the whole party. She does have her special grasta, which doesn't really do much. It gives her int and speed. Iffy is also built to survive. She has 7,000 health. She has the Purity Staff, which has status resistance, and speed and damage decreases as the fight goes on. She has the Subspace Ring for a little extra health and mana. And she has the 1250 HP badge, which I got from the Phantom Crystal Dimension for getting a bunch of cats to stamp my little booklet. She has 3 HP ores that each have 300 health, and each one has the Light Shadow HP Grasta because she has over 50 shadow, so it's better than the normal HP ore. She does have her Carmilla proof, which gives her a little bit of int and speed. And Flammopolis, so here's kind of the design. One of Iffy's passives is that any damage goes to the character on the right first. And once that person dies, because of the blood contract, then it's the next person on the right with blood contract. And then finally, the remaining blood contract. So Flammopolis is going to be the character that takes damage first. Because of that, I've kind of built her a little tanky. She has the Dark Spirit Kakara, which improves her physical resistance. She has the Mujima Ring, so as the fight goes on, she decreases damage. And she has Steely Resolve badge. It gives her health and gives her hold ground once. She has 3 grasta that each have a base of 300 health, and 2 with HP ore, 1 with Light Shadow HP ore. Since her light is less than 50, it would actually be better if I gave her a 3rd HP ore, except that this is what I normally give to Radius, and I don't want to go through all the trouble. So actually her health could be around 6,300 if I swapped out the ores, but 62, 6,300, whatever. She does have her Scotty proof, which gives a little bit of intelligence, but also 5 endurance. And again, I'm trying to build her tanky. And as far as skills, these are the skills for her. Iffy's skills. You saw Shanghua's. And Myunfa altars. Myunfa does not have an attack skill. I find that I use these a lot more, and they're more beneficial for the team as a whole than her one single attack skill, T-Break, which does inflict poison and pain, and is an Earth-type magic attack. So in a magic AF zone, or AF burst, this would allow me to keep that burst going a little longer. But aside from that, I already have pain from Iffy, so, she doesn't have an attack. But that's okay, as you'll see. For the reserve characters, since Xianghua is a Null character, things that improve type attack, for example, like the synth human grasta, those types of things don't really improve her damage. What does improve her damage are anything that can get her mana up past 1087, because that's one of her cutoffs to improve her damage. And anything that still improves party damage, but not type attack. So, for example, enhance at low HP staff. If Xianghua's health is below 80%, she gains damage. If Xianghua's health is at maximum, she gains damage. It does not say type damage, it just says damage. So those two grasta are buffing Xianghua. And the Power of the Void series, non-type attacks improve by 40% for all staff users. So you just need any staff user. I have Yuna, but it could be any staff user equipped with those. Helena, free character, is a staff user as well. She has Sound Body staff. Not only does it improve Xianghua's health, but it gives her 50 mana towards that 1087 cutoff. Sound Body synth human, for the exact same reason, so she gets a total of 100 mana from the two sound bodies. And then Resonant Power Shadow. For every shadow ally, party damage increases and goes up to 30% for 4 shadow allies. None of that says type attack either. And Xianghua is shadow, Iffy is shadow. So 2 of the frontline characters are shadow. I don't know if the reserves count, but technically Helena is also shadow. So either Helena's Resonant Power Shadow is buffing Xianghua by 15% for 2, or 23-ish% for 3 characters. I'm not sure which, but either way, she's getting buffed. For sidekicks, we have Tetra and Gunts. Tetra, very important here. Since I don't have a tank with this team, I want to improve physical and magical resistance as much as possible, so hopefully they stay alive. And then he can improve their health and mana as well. So the thought process is, when Flammopolis gets hit and takes a pretty strong hit, then Tetra's aura kicks in, she gains even more health, and she does gain some resistances. And then Gunts, when you blow the AF gauge, all party member stats go up by 20%. So while that will beef up her endurance and her spirit to help her resistances, that also buffs the entire team's intellect. Another one of Xianghua's features is that she needs the average intellect for the entire front row to be 300 or higher. And right now, we have intellect of 244, Xianghua's is almost 400, Iffy's is 281, and Flammopolis's is 230. So Iffy passes up 300 with Gunts' aura, and the other two get very close. So thanks to Xianghua's very high intellect, the average is 300. So that's another way to maximize Xianghua's damage. So that is the magic team that I've come up with. Let's see it in action. To showcase the magic team, we're going to fight the Wyrmking's Shadow. This is in the records room if you're not sure where to go to fight this boss. First thing we're going to do is blow the AF gauge to get Gunts' aura going. During that time, we're going to deploy Magic Zone. We're going to cast Trinity, Rosa Liliac, and Lemaire Archon. So we're going to do 3, 2, 3, 3. And then we're going to try and get as many 2s in as well as Horizon, but we don't have that much time to work. 3, 2, 3, 3, 2. We got a little bit in. So we have a magic zone, and we have a prayer going. Well, we did have a prayer going. Oh, maybe she was the one that was hit. Alright. Well, we're about to have a prayer going. We are going to Horizon again. We're going to Nocturnal Procession and Hermoder Galder. Xianghua should be the last one to go because her speed is so low. Tetra's aura kicked in on Flammopolis AS, which is why her health is in yellow. Now we're going to cast Please. We're going Horizon. We're going to Ickerphilia. And this is the third turn, so this is the last turn that we have of any major buffs or debuffs from Flammopolis. So we're going to rebuff the int speed of the whole team. And there goes the Wyrmking's first life. He's going to cast End Breath. But thanks to the prayer, no damage is taken. We have use of the AF gauge again. We have the prayer going. And we have the magic zone going. So what we can do now, we can blow the AF gauge. We can work in one Tampered Roast to restore some mana to the team. We can start spamming Horizon. Ickerphilia. Well, we'll do Rosaliliac first. When he loses a life, he loses some debuffs. And we will use Pentalpha Un for the 5 hits. So we're going to do 0. We might work in one Trinity as well. So 0, 2, 3, and then all ones. 0, 2, 3, all ones. And if we can get off one more Horizon, there goes the next life. Another End Breath, which we're still praying for. And we do have an Awakened Magic Zone now, which is a little dangerous because he does have a magic attack. So we are going to repray, since it's been about 3 turns. Horizon, Nocturnal. Actually, we're going to Rosaliliac again to get the debuffs going. And we are going to do Pentalpha Un to get back that bar. There goes the next life. One more End Breath. He was able to cut through and hurt Flammopolis, but thanks to her health and a little bit of Tetra's reinforcement, she did not die, so we still have Blood Contract on all the characters. And he's starting the countdown. Let's check our extra attack. We are still good there. So let's check our buffs. We have Awakened Magic Zone and Prayer. So we will go ahead and do Please. We will Horizon. We will Rosaliliac. Actually, let's see, how's our Nocturnal Procession going? Alright, I see a lot of 2s and 3s left, so we're good there. So we're going to Rosaliliac to reduce damage, and Pentalpha Un to work that back up. And Horizon finishes the deal. So relatively quick work of the Wyrmking's Shadow, which is a tier 11 Superboss. And Xianghua, because she has null attacks, we bypassed its mechanics that, it has a very high type resistance and a very high physical resistance, and you have to work its way down. Well, she has null attacks, so it doesn't matter how much type and physical resistance the boss has. She just cuts right through it. So that is the magic team in action. Well, that's it for my teams. I've shown you my earth, wind, water, fire, thunder, crystal, and null magic teams. So 7 total teams for me to swap around with. There is a lot of gear sharing and grasta sharing, and it'll be so nice once the new UI finally arrives. Hopefully it will arrive soon, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm not saying that these are the best possible teams for each element. This is just what works for me, and I've been able to defeat a lot of content with basically these groups. I hope this helps. Casual Crono, signing out.